Imagine writing a letter by hand, tirelessly repeating the same phrase over and again to fill a page. Isn't it mundane and tiresome? Programming faced a similar dilemma until loops came into play. Just like a magical spell that automates repetition, loops in programming allow developers to execute a set of instructions repeatedly without manually writing out each instance. Within the Ruby programming language, for and while loops are two powerful constructs that elegantly handle repeated execution, each with its unique flair. This essay intends to voyage through these looping mechanisms, simplifying their concepts for beginners and highlighting their practical applications. Before diving into the specifics of loops, let's lay the groundwork with a brief overview of Ruby. Developed in the mid-90s by Yukihiro Matsumoto, Ruby is designed to be a simple, extensible, object-oriented programming language. One of its main goals is to make the development process more enjoyable and productive. Ruby's philosophy is to make the technology serve the people, not the other way around. It's designed to be straightforward and direct, with a syntax that is natural to read and easy to write. The for loop in Ruby offers a clear and concise way to iterate over a range of values or through items in an array. The syntax is straightforward. Ruby for I in 0, 5 puts I end. This loop will output numbers from 0 to 5. It begins with the for keyword, followed by a variable that will take on each value in the range, the in keyword, and the range of values. Notice how Ruby's syntax seeks to remain as natural as possible, allowing the intention behind the code to be readily visible even to those who might not specialize in programming. Besides offering readability, the for loop in Ruby automatically handles the increments of the looping variable, reducing the risk of an infinite loop caused by a mishandled increment. Alternatively, the while loop executes as long as a certain condition remains true. Here's a basic example. Ruby x equals sign 0 while x equals sign 5 puts xx plus equals sign 1 end. This outputs the same result as the previous for loop example, but demonstrates a different mechanic. The while loop relies on a condition. Execute as long as x is less than or equal to 5. Each loop iteration also needs an explicit action that moves towards making the condition false, or the loop will run indefinitely. This condition checking approach gives the while loop flexibility and makes it suitable for situations where the number of iterations isn't known in advance. Though both for and while loops in Ruby are capable of accomplishing similar tasks, their application scenarios differ based on the control they offer. The for loop is preferable when the number of iterations is known beforehand, as it encapsulates the counting logic succinctly. In contrast, the while loop provides superior control in scenarios where the iteration needs to react dynamically to changes during runtime. This comparative insight showcases how each loop can be more effectively used depending on the specific requirements of the code. Let's look at practical applications of each loop. In a real-world scenario, a for loop is perfect for iterating over a fixed set of elements. Ruby for name inputs hello, hash, name, end. For a scenario involving a condition-based termination that may not be linked directly to the number of iterations, Ruby temperature equals sign 100 while temperature 95 temperature equals sign 1 puts temperature is adjusting to hash, temperature, degrees, end. These examples illustrate how to choose between for and while based on the task's requirements. While loops add powerful capabilities to Ruby, they also require careful handling. Here are a few best practices. Always ensure there is a clear and fail-safe condition for exiting the loop. Keep the code inside the loop as simple and clear as possible. Use proper naming conventions for loop variables to enhance readability. Adhering to these principles ensures that loops not only serve their purpose, but also maintain the clarity and maintainability of the code. Loops in Ruby, as in any programming language, they form the foundation upon which complexity is built. Mastery of for and while loops equips programmers with the tools necessary to handle repetitive tasks efficiently, making the code cleaner and more effective. As beginners walk this path, understanding and applying these loop constructs can transform daunting tasks into manageable ones, turning endless lines of code into elegant solutions. Looping, with its repetitive grace, offers a glimpse into the orderly aspect of the programming world, where every iteration, much like every brushstroke, contributes to a larger picture. In the evolving landscape of programming, where efficiency and clarity reign supreme, mastering such fundamentals is not just useful, but essential. Imagine writing a letter by hand, tirelessly repeating the same phrase over and again to fill a page.